All right, greetings and salutations, everyone. Welcome to the Crypto Truth, where I give you the truth as I see it. Well, it's been a while, and I am happy to kind of sort of be back. I'll be making a video pretty soon, and when I say soon, I do mean tonight, talking about where I think America is going. I'm going to talk about universal basic income, some of those things. But for right now, I just want to talk about the I guess more along the conversation of earlier on Twitter. There was a conversation. A Totsum created it and talked about the dark side of Holochain. Right now, I know a lot of people are used to my videos being very, very how should I say? I try to be as unbiased as I possibly can. Right? That's why I tell you guys, to always do your own research because it's extremely important. Any project, anything that you do in life, right? You need to do research. There's a lot of people, and I'm going to say this, and I hate to bring this about, but there's a lot of people who worship a God that they don't understand because they don't even study the religion. If you're going to worship a God or a specific God, in general, you probably should read the book. You probably should read the Bible if you believe in Jesus. I'm just saying. I've met so many people who don't even, it's crazy. They don't even know anything about the Bible. They don't understand any of it, but they believe that in Jesus. How? I don't even understand how that's even possible. But that's the world that we live in today. If going back to Holochain, there's a lot of people who believe in Holochain, who believe in what it can do and what it can be, but they don't do any research on that. And if they do research, they don't ask questions, difficult questions, right? I thought that there was some great points made in the conversation about the dark side of Holochain. Now, I don't think that, as a matter of fact, I know if you listen to him, he's basically saying, hey, it's a possibility for X, Y, and Z to happen. Yes. Will it happen? We don't know, but we have to be aware that there's a possibility. And there's some great examples that he used throughout his space, and I'm really appreciative. I think he did an excellent job, great job. And then afterwards, me, Atasum, and Nova got together, and we kind of had a nice little conversation. Not only educated each other, but we kind of bounced off and collaborated with each other, and wanted to talk about some things. So thank you for that. Thank you guys for that great conversation. I don't mind having conversations, people. I really don't. Like, I love having conversations. I love, just like Atasum, he said, hey, I don't mind asking, being wrong. And there's strength in a person, in an individual, to say, hey, look, if I'm wrong, please tell me, how am I wrong? But the thing is that a lot of people, what's happening, especially within Holochain right now, is that there are some people who are like these super fans, and they don't have they can't say anything. And half of the reason why they can't say anything or rebuke, or I should say, what's the word? Disagree with the things that Atasum is saying is because of the fact that there's a lot of lack of clarity of what's happening with this project. This project has been around for a long time, and nobody seems to know anything. The top people, yes, Paul Diaz, great guy. I personally think he's a great guy. I think he's a nice guy. But I do also think that he is not a mouthpiece for Arthur Brock, Eric Harris Brown, or Mary Camacho. So there's a lot of questions and a lot of concerns that were made. I've stated these concerns in the past. This is nothing new. I've stated about the AMAs and how nobody, in the AMAs, I timed it. Like, it was like 15, 20 minutes. And it was basically people congratulating each other or saying, hey, what do they think about the project and stuff. And took out like a major part of the AMA. Like, it's not really an AMA. He made some great points. It's not really an AMA. An AMA is ask me anything, not ask me and then I choose questions that we've already answered a billion times before. Questionnaire. So I don't know what, me personally, I don't know what they're trying to do. I don't know what they're trying to do, but there's a misconception that people who look at Holochain in a very unbiased way are somehow against Holochain. Now, let me tell you guys something. There are a lot of things that I do not believe in. I do not believe in Dogecoin. Therefore, I'm not going to spend my time talking about Dogecoin, talking about, oh, it's trash, talking about, oh, well, there's no developers. Oh, what is it doing? Oh, it's just a meme coin. I can do that all day long. I don't care about projects that I have no interest in. So therefore, if I am talking about Holochain, I obviously have some kind of vested interest in it, right? A couple of other things to point out, but I'm gonna cut this short because I really want to get into something that was brought to my attention, not through necessarily the space, but kind of what I was thinking about, because I kind of want to make a clear picture to everyone here. So we have Holochain. I'm gonna put Holochain over here, and I'm gonna put /holo. And if you are new to Holochain and Holo, you should know that these are two different entities. That's one of the important things that you need to realize so that you won't get confused when we're talking about Holo Fuel or the hot token, blah, blah, blah. Okay? So let's say we have the world here. We have our different continents. And you know what? I'm a terrible artist. I am a very terrible artist. I'm over here in America. So I'm going to put America right here. I'm going to put South America over here. I'm going to put Canada up here. We know that Canada's up here somewhere. I'm going to put Europe. You know what? I'm just going to put the whole continent of Europe over here. And then I'm going to put another continent of Africa over here. And you know what? I'm just going to make this Asia over here. Okay. So the reason why I'm doing this is because I want to kind of illustrate the things and the concerns that's happening right now. It is apparent that Holochain, the leaders, the people who are over Holochain, Eric Harris Braun, Arthur Brock, Mary Camacho, they're not really saying much, right? They talk about the project as much as they possibly can, but they don't really talk about the operation of exactly how it's going to work. Now, this turns off a lot of people who have been following Holochain for a very long time. Specifically, as Atasim said on Twitter, specifically, there's a lot of people over in Turkey, and they were very pissed off. Now, why are they pissed off? Why are they discouraged? Well, the simple fact is that Holochain or the hot token is available on Binance, right? So it became available on Binance, and everyone and this is where the little bit of a disagreement comes in. There's many different sides of camps, right? There are people who don't believe in the technology but want to, they want to get rich from a cryptocurrency project, right? I'm going to get into that in a second. There's also people who love the project, but they're not planning on getting rich from the project. They want to elevate mankind. They want to elevate the world, right? And so they really love the project. The problem is that Holochain or the Holo organization has invited both parties there, right? So, which I would love to get some clarity. If you guys could give me some clarity on the leaders of Holochain and Holo. Now, we already know most of them, but I would love to know if these teams are the same, right? If most people on Holo are working, which they're very closely related, right? But they're two different entities, and there's a key point to be made on that. We'll talk about that later as well. So Binance is on Hot, and that means that Hot is on Binance, excuse me, and that means that they moved to Gibraltar, right, to avoid the silliness that's over here. To avoid the silliness over here in the U.S., right? So I don't know whether they started in the U.S. and then they moved to Gibraltar, or whether they just started everything in Gibraltar. Either way, I think they just did everything in Gibraltar. Either way, very intelligent move. Very ahead of its time. Why? Because the U.S. have no idea what the hell they're doing. Look, I'm going to tell you guys something. The United States of America is so confused right now. on all levels, from social issues to political issues to economical issues to every issue that you can think of. Everybody is divided, and nobody really sits down at the table and says, okay, let's have an intelligent conversation about this. I do not believe that having the people in Congress, when they ask the people to testify in Congress, they only have 5 minutes, right? So I'm sorry, but you try explaining to somebody what Holochain is or Holo is in 5 minutes. You can't do it. Not only that, but what is the purpose? The other thing is, before I get into all of this, one important thing to realize is that we need to talk about time, right? So if this is how I think about things, I could be wrong. But if it took 14 years for Bitcoin to be recognized in a certain way, how long do you think it's going to take something that's based off on Holochain, right? As far as mutual credit currencies, because a lot of people are talking about mutual credit currencies and how it's going to change the world and different things like that. Well, mutual credit currencies, or that idea, is a system. It's not a new system, but it is a system, and it has to be adopted. And one of the reasons why it's not adopted is because there are other terrible systems out there that have persuaded other human beings to go with that system. Hey, we have this mutual credit system over here. It's going to work great. And we got all the calculations and everything, blah, 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 blah. People don't want to hear that. Normal, average, day, everyday people, especially over here in America, they don't want to hear that. They want to hear the sparkly, sunshiny things, whether it's the truth or not, about, it's going to, help them be able to have a better future, and they're going to be able to purchase houses with a picket fence and a little chihuahua in the backyard, or some stuff. So they created the American dream by using different means of different messages, right? And those messages were very, very powerful, and it's very, very convincing. And so it doesn't matter what kind of system you have. If your system, even if you're a genius out there, if your system isn't really working, if you can't really communicate what that system is or what that program is, then nobody's really going to want to be involved with it, which is a huge issue with Holochain, with the whole organization right now. They have things that you can go and read about it. How many people read? That you can go and listen to, some of their philosophical ideas. How many people are going to take the time to listen to an hour or two video? I mean, I'm the exception. I will. You guys know I will. Hell, you guys know how long I read too. So, for a fact that people aren't going to do those things. They're too lazy. A lot of human beings are just too lazy, right? So even if you have a small ecosystem, and something that's created where a genius created it, it doesn't mean that it's a system that people are going to adopt. And those things take time. So if it took 14 years for Bitcoin to get to the point that it's not even at a major point, how much further along is it going to take for we're talking about hollow fuel and mutual credit currencies? It's going to take a long time. I can probably guarantee you it's going to be about at least 20 years before mutual credit currencies are fully adopted, and that's if they're able to create that to persuade governments. And because let me tell you guys something, things aren't going to happen without a government. And we see that the government leadership is switching all the time, and we have over a long period of time, not over the small amount of time that we live, we see that the powers change constantly. The East, the West, the East, the West, the West, the East. You know what I'm saying? It's all over the place. And who the hell knows? Maybe the next leading power is going to be over in South America somewhere. I don't know. My point is, and if that did happen, it will obviously be 70, 80 years from now. So again, we're talking about a lot of things that could possibly happen, but it's not going to happen anytime soon, right? And so I do believe that Atatsum is correct in saying, hey, there's some dark things that can happen here, but honestly, it's not going to happen anytime soon, at least not with the major world. Now, here's the thing. People do things, nefarious things all the time, and a lot of times they're the first ones to adapt technology because they're the ones who want they want to take it full advantage of it. There are a lot of people out there who are criminals, who are not just, and I sound like Elizabeth Warren on cryptocurrencies. Oh, only criminals use cryptocurrency. No, but there are a lot of people who were in the crypto, the Silk Road realm and stuff like that. Why did they jump on the opportunity? Because they saw the potential of the technology. Before these idiots over here in America, they were like, I didn't know, and then eventually they caught up. The problem is, especially in the U.S., is that we're always trying to catch up, and then we're always trying to steal or to take advantage of whatever technology is out there and use it for ourselves. Get into ChatGPT later. All right, so we have Holochain. Going back to this. And this is the reason why I have these things up here, because I can now see where I was in the conversation. But HOT is available on Binance. Now, who is available for? It is definitely not available to us in the US. So everybody else but available to us in the United States of America. Why is HOT not available in the U.S.? Well, because we have security rules that we don't even know of, right? So, we don't know if it's a security or not. We'll have to do some research and we'll have to analyze the possibilities and all. In the meantime, the whole U.S. is going to shit, and they're trying to figure out why. They don't care. People, I understand that there are a lot of people in other countries where you are dealing with real problems, immediate problems. Hell, my problem is that my girlfriend made peach cobbler, and now I can't have it because she split it up with her parents. I'm still mad about that, by the way. I wanted more. Anyway, it was good peach cobbler. But anyway, the point is that those are my problems. Those aren't real problems. Those are not real problems. You know what real problems are? Real problems are the things that I mentioned over in Turkey and Indonesia, and where they have earthquakes, and they have these 7.8 whatever magnitude earthquakes, and it completely destroy everything that they built. You save up all your money, you go into a business, you're doing certain things, and all of a sudden you have this terrible earthquake, and people are dying, and there's not a lot of emergency services around, and then the internet's out, and there's all these kinds of problems is going on in the world right now. And so, no, people who are talking about Holochain and the things that it can provide in Holofuel from Holo, and the things that it can provide and providing this new idea of mutual credit system, it's not going to help anybody anytime soon. Within the next 10 years, it's not going to help anybody. And that's something that we have to really get across. So the main thing is, if we're not going to be, if it's something that is not going to be able to help people in the near future while they're struggling, of course they're going to be mad. Because there's a lot of people who are in Turkey that was like, okay, this is my way out. I'm going to purchase HOT because it's going to go somewhere, and then I can move my family, I can do whatever I need to do. And then I can get out of this situation, this inflationary environment. Here's the embarrassing thing on my part. I sat there, looked people bold face, square in the eye, and said, I really, it's still the truth. I think this is the best technology out there. I don't see why it shouldn't grow as far as the HOT token, the value of the HOT token. And by the way, there's some things that I have heard that I know for a fact that the value of the HOT token matters. Now, I forgot to bring that up when we communicated earlier today, but the value of HOT matters to the Holo organization. I'm going to explain to you guys why some other time, but right now I'm just going to keep my mouth quiet. So, when we're looking at this and we're like, well, all of these other places, not the U.S., have invested in Holochain, or I should say the HOT token, and now things aren't working out, and matter of fact, it's performing terrible. You know what the embarrassing thing is? Right? Here's the embarrassing thing, and this is something that I feel bad on. And these are things that I just don't know. Nobody can know because they don't know the future. But if I had but known more information or had gotten more information about, at the time, Holochain, Hot, all of these different things, I would have put my money somewhere else. Could you imagine if people in Turkey, who is it? Captain 707, something like that. If people in Indonesia, in Turkey, if they had to just listen to him and purchase Shiba Inu when it first came out, they wouldn't be in this issue. They wouldn't have any issues or problems. Hell, I would be in the situation that I'm in now. But no, I had to say, well, you know what? I really like this technology. I really like where it's going. I see that it's going to change the world. It's a new way of communication. This is the trend that I feel. I want to invest, and I said invest. We'll talk about that later. In something solid. And because I bought a Holoport. Obviously, I just bought a Holoport, but I'm just saying, not just now, but you know. But anyway, I have a Holoport. You know, I want to use it for holo fuel and be a part of this new economy and do certain things. And so a lot of people purchase Hot because they were like, this is how it is. And guess what? I'm not going to call myself a dumbass, but me thinking, oh, well, it only makes sense because this is the best technology out there that people are going to pay attention. We're going to do certain things. I'm going to be able to get involved with the community and talk about and collaborate and do all kinds of stuff. Hell no. Nothing happened. And that just led to more less transparency, right? So because of that, people are like, I can't win in life. Because all of this stuff, if people had known that, oh, no, we're not going to have beta until 3-4 years out, or we made a mistake in all of these different things, we'd be in great shape. But I'm sorry, but if people had known that, and that's all dealing with the communication, And that's where I believe that the Holo organization has failed miserably. It's having proper communication and transparency so that people in their lives right now can make smart decisions about what they do with their money as far as cryptocurrency is concerned. So, Hot's on Binance, but why is it on Binance? Why is Hot even out in the first place? Hot is just the IOU. That's what some of the people in the Holochain community says. It's just the IOU for Holofuel, and that's it. So now we're working, especially, I don't really understand the philosophy of having a mutual credit currency or saying that you want mutual credit currency when you believe in having IOUs. So like, to create that mutual credit currency, I'm still trying to gather myself on the philosophy behind that, because the reality of it is they needed money. They needed money to be able to create and further create Holochain and Holo. There's nothing wrong with that, people. Absolutely nothing wrong with that, but you have to be honest with yourselves. The organizations have to be honest with themselves. We're not, some of us are not tech people. I'm not a tech person, but I'm also not a dummy either. I know how businesses are supposed to operate. I know how they're supposed to work. Let me tell you something. I break down businesses everywhere I go, not for a job or anything, I wish, but I talk about and do things and make sure I'm like, oh, that's not good. That's not good. That's not good. Oh, that's great. That's great. Oh man, look at how that person did this. Look at what's happening in the background. This is one of the reasons why people are starting to ask questions, because they bought something and then they thought that, oh, well, it's available, so that means that it's going to be used, and that means that it's going to be, right now, we still don't know exactly. I said exactly. Nobody knows exactly until things start coming out as far as Holochain is concerned. This hot and Holo fuel as Holo reaches beta. All right, so as Holochain reaches beta, but we got to wait for Holo to reach beta. Again, do your own research, people. So, going back to this, we have that the U.S., okay, so the U.S. can't be involved, can't purchase Hot. Everybody else can. hot goes down, a lot of people, especially over in the Turkey area in Indonesia, they're pissed because they're like, what the hell? And so now they're very turned off, as Tassim was saying, they're very turned off with Holochain in general. And I think that's a lesson to be learned, that they learned within the Holo organization. They're like, well, you know, we made these things, we made these promises, we may have said some dates, and people are trying to grab for it. They're trying to grab for it because they're trying to look and search for something to help them out within the next 5 to 10 years, immediate future, not 20 or 30 years from now. Because honestly, if Holochain is adopted majorly within the next 10 years, something has broken majorly. And I'm not even talking about just fiat currency. We all know that fiat currency is breaking. But something is seriously wrong. And it could be a good thing, right? For people who have invested in the hot token or Holo Fuel, they could be like, hey, man, this is great. And now my Holo Fuel is worth $5. Or we wouldn't even put it in fiat currency term, Satoshis. Because as far as I know of, unless hot is going to be the store of value, Bitcoin is going to be the store of value on many different platforms. I'm just saying, it's just going to be the store of value. I don't think, I assume that hot is going to be the store of value for Holochain, but I am not 1000% sure on that. That's just my own personal assumption. Okay, so they made a very smart move of not being here in the U.S. Now, how is this going to work? So, as far as we know, I don't want to get into the swapping thing because I've stated this many times. I don't think people agree with me, or I don't know. Maybe people are confused, which is understandable. But you know, once you swap your hot into Holo Fuel, you can't go and say, "Oh, well, I want to change my Holo Fuel back into hot." That's not happening. And then people say, "Oh, well, I want to support the ecosystem." That's wonderful and that's great. How many products is going to be in that ecosystem? How many, like, remember back in the day, you could hardly buy anything with Bitcoin. Now you can buy a whole lot of things with Bitcoin. It's the same thing. So I want to be a part of the ecosystem. Now I'm pretty sure that the ecosystem may slowly rise. The thing is that with Holo Fuel, which I don't understand why you want to switch out anyway, but with Holo Fuel is only going to be for that ecosystem, and Holo Fuel is going to have a basket of reserve currencies. Again, and Holochain is going to have a bunch of mutual credit currencies, right? And so all of these things have to deal with energy, but I've already broken that down, and that was a long video. Nobody watched it. Well, a couple of you guys watched it. Thank you very much for that. So we're looking at something in which it's not available in the US, but once it becomes available in the US, let's say hot is available in the US, well, it's going to have some kind of label. I'm going to tell you what label is not going to be. It's not going to be a security because it doesn't fit. And by the way, we're going to get into, because they're going to make another white paper, green paper, or whatever it's called, purple paper. And you guys know I'm going to read it as soon as it comes out. But they're going to have, it's not going to be a security because there's a lot going on in the U.S. They all got to figure that shit out. And honestly, it's going to take them a long time to even figure it out. So good luck with that. But over here, hot is not, everyone's using different cryptocurrencies. Everyone's moving forward with different types of technology. But let's go with Holo Fuel. Now, Holo Fuel is going to be a little bit different because Holo Fuel is going to be on the Holo network. Now, the Holo network is a for-profit organization. Holochain is a non-profit organization. Really, you need to get that. You need to make sure you understand those differences because those are important. Now, obviously, with Holo Fuel and the transactions that happen on there, the Holo organizations get 1% of that, and it goes to different places. Could be good places. Could be going to, I don't know. Who knows what they're going to decide on exactly how they're going to distribute that out. But my point is that the Holo is going to have a reserve basket of currencies, right? And so when you have a reserve basket of currencies, that could possibly include, guess what? CBDCs. Now, I'm not saying that they will, but I'm just saying it's a possibility because Holo has already said, hey, you know what? We're going to do things. If you guys read, I forgot what it was, but they're going to do things according to whatever the local government says. Okay, so if you're in the U.S., they're going to abide by U.S. rules, KYC, whatever is needed. Same thing with Canada, Asia, Russia, or whatever continent you want to be on, whatever country you want to be in, whatever city you want to be in. That is what it's going to be. So they're going to follow the rules and obtain that. Now with Holochain is an open source. So there's not really going to be like, oh, well, we have to follow certain rules because it's just going to be technology that's just going to be out there. Okay, so anybody can use Holochain. But the reason why I'm bringing all of this up is because, well, if there's going to be so many different kinds of currencies, a basket of currencies, then what in the world is the purpose of HOT? Which leads me back to why people are pissed off, because they're like, wait a second, you put something on here, you said that it's only an IOU, so people are trading it in for holofuel, but once you get to holofuel, now you have this environment, and by the way, let's talk about time again. This is going to be far into the future. This is going to be about 15, 20 years at least, at the very least in the future. This is not going to happen tomorrow. And again, like I said, if something happens within 3 to 4 years, that means that a system has broken down, and there's going to be a lot of social issues with that one. So I don't want to get into that. So yeah, we had a lot of people upset, and for the very fact that HOT, they don't know exactly what's happening with their investment. They're like, hey, you know, what's going on? And I feel bad. I personally feel bad. I honestly wish I had been one of those people to be like, hey, you know what? And get Shiba Inu, invest in Shiba Inu, and then everybody become millionaires. And they're like, hey, Chris, man, that was a great idea. And then they can decide, hey, you know what? I'm going to put a couple million in the Holochain, or I'm going to put a couple million and just donate the money to the organization. I'll buy a couple of Holoports. Or maybe I'll put all my websites on Holo. There's just a whole lot of plethora of possibilities. But here's what happened. That's not what happened. So we have to get into the real world here. Hindsight is always what? Exactly, 2020. Okay, so all right. I just wanted to talk about all of these things because I want people to understand that there has been a lack of, we all know that there's been a lack of transparency with Holochain. I'm hoping that we have some real AMAs. I'm hoping that we're able to communicate and collaborate. And by the way, all of this arguing on Twitter about exactly what's going to happen, why don't we just allow the organization to really truly, because half of this is their fault. I've stated this before. Half of this is their fault because they haven't talked about it, right? We don't know exactly how it's going to work. There hasn't been any papers going on, so we're really confused. Now, over here in the U.S., it's not really popular. Holochain is not really popular in the U.S. It's just not. Nobody's really paying attention or looking at it. You look at. There's a lot of solid projects that went to ETH Denver, so I wasn't just paying attention to Holochain, or I should say, I wasn't just paying to I wasn't just paying attention to Holochain. I was paying attention to other projects that are at ETH Denver that they're possibly because a lot of people they go there, they talk, they collaborate, and they try to figure out some ideas and run some ideas across from each other. And obviously there's a little bit gamesmanship there because they're trying to figure out they want their organization or their ideas or their company to work out. So, but when we look at this, we can clearly see. That there's a lot of issues, there's a lot of problems going on. I want to talk about the next video that I'm going to make, and hopefully I'm being able to make it tonight. It's going to be on my computer. Is talking about universal basic income because I think that's extremely important, and I think that's where the world is actually going to go. So there's you know, a lot of people, their mindset is really, oh well, that's communism. Oh well, that's capitalism, or oh no, that's socialism. And, you know, there's a whole lot of systems out there, and we want to put labels on them. But the reality of it is that we need to do things that's going to be able to help humanity overall in general. And I'm going to make a strong case. I'm going to explain why universal basic income could possibly be the answer, include using cryptocurrency technologies and the cryptocurrency themselves to move forward. So I just wanted to bring this to you guys' attention. I just wanted to talk about it for a little bit about Holochain and what's been happening, about the conversation earlier. Yes, there's a lot of bad things that can happen with Holochain. Someone can definitely use the technology. Holo is a little bit of a different story. You guys have to understand that there's a lot of KYC happening with Holo because they are going to be following the rules and regulations of each country that there is, which is a smart move because that enables them to be more flexible, right? That enables their technology to be able to be used and for technology to be able to be communicated. I'm assuming that the United States, their dumbasses are dumbasses because I am a United States citizen. I'm very critical on my own country. That's because I kind of live in it. I can't be critical on other countries because I really don't live in it. I haven't grown up there. I don't really, we can sit here and talk about other countries and the people of the countries, but the reality of it is that we just don't know. A lot of people think that, some people think that, oh, everything is all rosy over here in the United States of America. There's a lot of perspective there, but there's a lot of psychological things going on as well. So anyway, thank you guys very much. I wanted to make this video fairly short because I do want to make a video talking about universal basic income. I believe that all of us within the Holo organization, the Holo community need to really look at ourselves and really figure out exactly what direction that we want to take. Because if we're able to come together, have some conversations, and we can stop all of this second guessing, especially once everything starts happening, then we'll be able to move forward. We'll know where to put our energy. And I always call money, fiat currency, or whatever it is, energy, because that's what is being respected as, because we're trading energy for energy. Topic for another day. But anyway, you guys have a wonderful day. Please, as I always say, do your own research, do your own research, do your own research. And last but not least, above all else, it is definitely getting crazy out there. I keep saying this every time. Stay safe out there, okay, you guys? Bye.